A decade ago, back when aerial warfare was the hottest drama, a pilot named Porco was out on a mission with his squad. Suddenly, the enemy clapped back with an ambush, and their entire crew got isekai on the spot, leaving only him as a survivor. Next thing he knows, his airship is parked above the clouds, where he saw the whole sky is serving Milky Way-core made of wrecked airships. Moreover, his homies' airships are casually floating their way into that cosmic scrap heap like it's some celestial group chat they got invited to. What looked like a dream turned out to be straight up nightmare fuel, and he shortly makes it back to reality. But to his surprise, he got nerfed into a pig-man hybrid. Gina is the ideal goddess for many men in this town, but she is inexplicably drawn to Porco, who remains indifferent to her affections. Every time she wants to develop plot with him, Porco pretends not to understand because Gina was the wife of his former teammate who died in the war. To avoid her, Porco secluded himself on a remote island in the Mediterranean and became a bounty hunter thanks to his exceptional flying skills. His reputation grew rapidly, and one day he received an urgent order about a group of air pirates who had suddenly appeared and hijacked a cruise ship. They not only stole a considerable amount of gold coins but also captured a group of children as hostages.
It's an evil world we live in.
Despite being on vacation, Porco immediately activated his red airship and headed toward the troubled sea. Upon seeing Porco's arrival, the people on the cruise ship cheered and formed an arrow, pointing out the direction in which the air pirates had fled. However, Porco's airship suddenly malfunctioned and almost plunged into the deep sea. The airship's engine was leaking oil incessantly, but Porco was too pressed for time to stop and repair it.
Are you crazy?
Little did he know, these children possessed a fighting prowess even stronger than his own. They quarreled and made a ruckus throughout the journey, not giving the air pirates a moment of peace. Then, Porco appeared in his airship and directly destroyed the plane's engine. The air pirates couldn't land a single hit, but with another dive, Porco shattered the plane's tail. The scumbags were forced to land on the open sea and subsequently raised white flags, indicating their willingness to surrender. Porco eliminated yet another squad of air pirates, infuriating the rest of them. In response, they specifically hired an American pilot named Curtis to deal with Porco, but despite Curtis's provocations, Porco didn't even spare him a glance.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Moments later, the air pirates see Porco's indifference towards Curtis and decide to attack a ship in the Mediterranean. They intended to provoke Porco once more, but he remained unmoved. He then went to the bank, withdrew all of his savings, packed his luggage, and prepared to travel to Milan to have his airship repaired. In the midst of the journey, Porco suddenly fell victim to an ambush made by Curtis, and the condition of his airship worsened rapidly. Curtis took advantage of the situation to destroy the engine of Porco's aircraft, but Cloud Coon obstructs Curtis' line of sight and allows Porco to disappear without a trace. Help me spam, hail Cloud Coon, for it is a true legend. Curtis wanted to prove that he'd defeated Porco, so he brought back some debris from the wreckage of the red airship. Meanwhile, Porco took refuge in a nearby grove, but his airship was completely beyond repair. Soon after Porco's downfall made the headlines, everyone was talking about his tragic defeat. Porco found a ship to transport his battered airship to Milan, where he sought assistance from his old friend, Piccolo. To his surprise, the repair work was entrusted to a girl named Fio, Piccolo's granddaughter. Despite Piccolo's assurances of Fio's exceptional abilities, Porco remained skeptical. Fio overheard their conversation, and she boldly entered the room and made a bet that if she couldn't fix the airship, she wouldn't charge at all. She then spoke of Porco's past achievements, which clearly shows she was a fan of Porco, so he eventually agreed to let her repair the airship. The next day, Porco came to Fio and discovered that she had worked through the night, designing a set of high-quality wing blueprints that addressed the airship's previous shortcomings. Porco finally acknowledged Fio's skills, but he had one condition: Fio must get enough sleep. Not long after, Porco started recruiting repair workers, but only housewives and even grandmothers showed up.
Sensational.
Fortunately, these workers proved to be diligent, responsible, and competent in their repair work. The new engine installed in the airship provided Porco with renewed confidence, as it possessed significantly greater power than before. In his free time, Porco met with his former comrade, who delivered some distressing news. Porco had become a target for many individuals looking to capture him, and Fio was also being followed due to her involvement in the airship's modifications. Fortunately, Porco's driving skills allowed him to shake off his pursuers, but numerous mysterious individuals still came near the factory. With the repair work completed, Porco made preparations to depart immediately. Unexpectedly, Fio insisted on joining him, claiming that Porco owed her for the repairs and badly wanting to accompany him. Porco agreed and they set off in the airship, but his former comrades caught up with them and informed them of a group of air forces preparing to surround them. With this information, Porco successfully evaded the siege and returned to the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, Curtis is confessing his love for Gina, and he invites her to develop plot with him.
Yes! 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 Yes!
However, Gina refuses and tells him that Porco would surely come for her.
No! No! No!
She was waiting for him at the villa when she heard the sound of an airship approaching and hurriedly went outside to investigate. To her delight, it was Porco returning home, but he only greeted her briefly before turning to leave. Porco brought Fio to his secret base, but as soon as they unloaded their luggage, a group of people emerged from the tent. They turned out to be a group of air pirates who wanted to dismantle Porco's airship. Fio was furious and yelled at the air pirates for their insecurities because their flying skills are not as good as Porco's. The air pirates didn't seem to dare offend this genius mechanic, but suddenly Curtis appeared, and he was immediately captivated by her and decided to challenge Porco once again. His condition was that if he won, Fio would have to marry him. If he lost, he would pay off Porco's debt. After they left, Porco initially wanted to scold Fio for acting on her own, but when he saw her trembling in fear, he realized she was just putting up a brave front. That night, he insisted that Fio should rest in his sleeping bag while he kept watch on the beach. Fio looked at Porco and suddenly had the urge to kiss him because she recalled a story about a princess kissing a frog, turning it into a prince.
Stop it. Get some help.
And wanted to test if she could turn Porco back into a human. However, Porco called her a fool because a person's first kiss is reserved for the most important person. The next day, the news of the showdown between Porco and Curtis attracted a large audience, as the referee threw the bomb to signal the start of the match. The two airships dashed out simultaneously, engaging in a fierce battle in the sky. They continued fighting even after running out of bullets, and started throwing wrenches at each other, emptying the cabin of everything. Neither of them would back down, so they decided to return to base and jumped off their airships to settle the score with their fists. They fought until both of them collapsed, and the winner would be the one who stood up first. At that moment, Gina arrived piloting an airship, signaling that the Air Force was on their way. She urged everyone to escape quickly before going to the location of their duel. Suddenly, Porco emerged from the water, victorious, so Curtis took out his gold coins and paid off Porco's huge repair bill before leaving. Fio kissed Porco and miraculously, he transformed back into a human.